Hello, hello, hello. Hi, lovelies. It is I. You are lovely. So I chose that name because there have been many times in my life where I have felt completely unloved. Like we'll get into all that stuff, parental trauma, that type of thing, and why I've decided that I am no longer participating. I am going to become a nomad. I am going to just spread my tiny wings. I'm just going to, just chase bliss. Like, I don't know what it's called when people go from place to place wherever there's like summer weather, whether they're chasing summer or whatever, but I've decided that starting after this stint of mine in Antigua, where my entire family is from, I am going to just chase summer or chase happiness or chase, I don't know, attractive people to look at, because I'm just done, honey. I've experienced, like, this has not been the worst that I've experienced, obviously. I've been lucky enough to experience worse, but it was enough to just be like, oh, I'm not welcomed here. I'm not wanted here. Why am I here? So I'm going to try to find where I feel at least a little bit more welcomed, right? So there's that. So I think this channel, like I mentioned before, is a couple of years late. I remember a friend of mine who was my roommate at the time. She just kind of looked at me and she was like, oh, so you're a perfectionist. And literally my first response was, how dare you? Perfectionists get it right. That's telling. So I realized that a lot of my life, I don't do things because I am scared or upset or worried about what the outcome will be, where it's not going to be good enough. So why bother? Stop. Just stop. So I'm a person who has to really remember that 5% is better than 0%. Like, that's literally how low I have to go with it, because I am always secretly trying to be up here, and that keeps me in bed, right? I've missed entire days of my life because I was too busy ruminating over everything, being like, well, it's not gonna da-da-da, it's not gonna be this, and it's not gonna be that, and da-da-da, and da-da-da, and then you've missed an entire day. So that is enough rambling, and that was a little bit of like an intro to what I would like to do with this channel. So I know I was kind of like, oh, manifesting, I'm so over it. But it's because that, the manifestations that I have done have not been as successful as I would dream them and want them to be. But we just acknowledge that I am a harsh self-critic who is unfortunately battling perfectionism. So I probably have manifested a lot of the great things that have happened in my life, but because it's not, then to me it's not good enough, and what's the point? Da, 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 da. So let's all calm down. All right, so I have figured it out, I think. I now believe that racism in different countries is not 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, it is 5. Pestilence never left. Pollution and pestilence are 2 different forms, and they're all working together to achieve and realize the goal of complete annihilation of humanity. That is it. And they are so good at it. If you've ever read the book Good Omens, or if you've seen the Amazon Prime series Good Omens, there are 4 apocalypse of there's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, right? They are the servants to the Antichrist or whatever, right? So in that reiteration, famine is a very successful, very chic, very suave, very well-dressed, darling demon who has figured out that humanity is so dumb and so self-loathing that we are willing to spend all of our earned cointadas, our doll hairs, on substances that we consume that do nothing for us. It's like we're starving. we're shoveling it all in, but it's like we're starving. We're not eating food. We're not even eating vegetables. We're not even a great vegan. We're not even on a macrobiotic diet. It's just literal air. Right? So I was wondering if the type of racism that maybe people in Australia exhibit or experience. And I say nay. I've decided that famine is the type of racism that exists in Black, Indigenous, people of color countries or in our own communities. Okay? Because a lot of that type of racism resides in respectability politics. Are we familiar with respectability politics? The belief system that if you should, if you make sure your hair is like perfectly coiffed at all times so as not to scare the white folk, you would get a better job. If you make sure your face is beat and done beyond just perfection at all moments, then you can finally get you a good man. And most likely he can, like some cultures where women are always just done. And I'm like, that's exhausting. You look gorgeous, sis, but that's exhausting. I wish I could. I really want to learn how to like perfectly beat that face, because I'm telling you, the confidence that my little bit of like Superstore, Shoppers Drug Mart, London Drugs, like on sale lipstick from Maybelline gives me, it's true. It is true. Like I do derive like a sense of confidence, and it is like war paint where I'm like, oh. Like I feel a little bit better about myself. I admit that makeup does do that for me. And so I kind of wish I had the power to like go full glam and just tell me nothing. Because when I look in the mirror, I'm ecstatic. Like, look at it. You know, that type of thing. So I believe that famine, that horseman, is like a great metaphor of what racism is like in places of color, spaces of color, like colorism, all of that, where we're looking at each other and we're like, she's wearing those shoes? No wonder she ain't got a man. Like, like it's literally like that. And you're like, oh my gosh. Like, if only you weren't so dark. If only you weren't so ghetto. If only you didn't speak like that. Like, who are we basing ourselves off of? Like, what are we trying to prove? What? Like, why are we policing ourselves? Like, we act quote unquote ethnic, that then we don't deserve rights? Like, really, like, let's break down, like, obviously I'm not an academic who can break down the full meaning of respectability politics, but let's really think about what people are saying to us when they're criticizing our hair, our clothing, our skin color in the lens of anti-Black and anti-Indigenous and anti-people of color racism, where people are looking at you and they're just like, well, no wonder you're failing at life. I mean, look at you. You look so much like our ancestors before they were saved and colonized by Eurocentric ideals. Like, okay. All right. Like, anyways. So I think like famine is the racism that you experience. Oh, that's a good point. I wonder if it's also like the racism that as a person you experience when you're in another country that is not of your heritage, but is another non-white country. And I think it is. I do, because I remember like taking pictures in like Asia and them telling me to open my eyes wider. When I smile, my eyes close. That's why I don't smile anymore. That's why my goal in life is to smize without smiling. Like, take the picture. I'm not playing this game anymore, because when I smile, then people be like, oh, not so much teeth, or, oh, maybe your eyes are doing it. Like, no, so just take the picture. I'll give you like a, now, and that's it. I'm not using my teeth anymore. I did that all the little bits of my life in my childhood, and I gained nothing from it but bullies, essentially. And yeah, like it's really interesting. Like you get back your pictures in Asia and you're like, wow, look at